You've just matched. She replied, but not immediately. You read the text 5 times, analyze every word, wonder if she's pulling away. Your mind races. Did I say something wrong? Does she like me? Am I blowing it? Here's the truth that most men never realize. Overthinking early dating signals isn't about her. It's about your energy, your mindset, and your subconscious wiring. Every anxious thought, every second guess, every desperate text subtly broadcasts low value. Women sense it unconsciously, long before they ever consciously interpret your words. Most men fail at early dating because they treat it like a logic puzzle. They obsess over the right emojis, the perfect timing, or what her tone really means. What they don't see is that attraction operates at a subconscious, instinctual level. Women don't calculate like a spreadsheet. They feel. They scan energy, emotional stability, and confidence. When you overanalyze, you signal insecurity, which triggers avoidance. Pulling back, delayed replies, or lukewarm engagement are not punishments. They are biological responses to perceived instability. Another reason men overthink is unrealistic attachment patterns. Early dating triggers uncertainty, which activates your brain's reward and fear systems simultaneously. Dopamine spikes when you anticipate her attention. Cortisol spikes when you worry about losing it. That combination creates obsessive thought loops. The more you think, the less grounded your energy becomes. Your overthinking feeds itself, and her subconscious picks up on it, creating the exact dynamic that makes attraction fade. Here's the brutal truth. The men women are drawn to are not the ones who obsess over signals. They are the ones who maintain presence, autonomy, and emotional regulation. They aren't trying to decode every nuance of her behavior. They exist in a state of calm confidence. They act, respond, and engage deliberately while letting uncertainty exist without panic. Attraction is generated not by analysis, but by energy, emotional control, and subtle cues that communicate stability and self-worth. By the end of this video, you'll understand why men overthink early dating signals, what she's really noticing unconsciously, and how to shift your mindset and energy so that overthinking stops. You'll stop reacting out of fear, start responding from mastery, and turn uncertainty into magnetic presence. Overthinking starts in your subconscious long before your conscious mind even realizes it. The first trigger is perceived scarcity. When a man believes her attention is limited, the brain treats every response, delay, or emoji as a life or death signal. This ancient wiring is designed to protect you from losing a potential mate, but in modern dating, it backfires. Instead of creating attraction, it creates anxiety, obsessive thought loops, and reactive behavior. Every second you spend decoding her signals, instead of maintaining calm presence signals to her brain that you are emotionally dependent. Next is projection of self-doubt. Men often misinterpret neutral or ambiguous behavior as rejection because they project their insecurities onto her actions. A delayed reply doesn't mean disinterest. It often means she's busy, distracted, or simply living her life. Yet your mind fills in the blanks with worst-case scenarios, creating unnecessary panic. This is why overthinking feels unavoidable. Your subconscious mind interprets uncertainty as danger, triggering the fear response. Another key factor is dopamine-fueled anticipation. Early dating is designed to trigger subtle emotional highs and lows. A playful text, a smile, a compliment, they spike dopamine, creating excitement and reward. But when mixed with uncertainty, the same signals trigger cortisol, the stress hormone, leading to obsessive thought patterns. Your brain becomes addicted to analyzing, predicting, and planning every move to control the outcome, which ironically pushes attraction away. Finally, misunderstanding female psychology amplifies overthinking. Most men analyze words and gestures literally, ignoring the fact that women respond primarily to energy, presence, and confidence, not logic. Subtle cues like tone, timing, and emotional resonance are far more impactful than any text or emoji. Overanalyzing misses the point. Women react subconsciously to your energy, not your interpretation of hers. The key to breaking this cycle is awareness. Recognize when your mind is projecting, when scarcity is driving behavior, and when anticipation is fueling obsessive thinking. Once you understand these triggers, you can intercept the thought loops before they control your behavior. Instead of reacting to every signal, you respond deliberately, anchored in confidence, presence, and emotional independence. The first shift to stop overthinking is energy over analysis. Most men believe attraction is about decoding signals, but women respond to energy, not logic. Your calm, grounded presence communicates confidence and value more powerfully than any text or perfectly timed response. When you overanalyze her behavior, you broadcast the opposite: insecurity and neediness. The shift is simple, yet most men never practice it consciously. Focus on how you exist in the moment, rather than what she did or didn't do. When your energy signals stability and self-worth, her subconscious attention is drawn to you naturally. Next is controlled engagement. Respond deliberately, not reactively. A delayed reply is not a cue to chase. It's an opportunity to maintain composure and set your own rhythm. Overreacting, double texting, or trying to prove your value destroys attraction. Women notice emotional regulation unconsciously. A man who maintains calm interest, humor, and light curiosity signals autonomy and stability, which increases desire. Early dating is a game of subtle tension. Too much overcommunication flattens it. Measured presence sustains it. Perspective shifting is also critical. Overthinking occurs when uncertainty is interpreted as rejection. Shift your view. Uncertainty is normal. Early dating is not a test of worth, it's a process of energy alignment. She is assessing your presence, confidence, and autonomy, just as you are evaluating hers. When you reframe ambiguity as a natural filter rather than a threat, the obsessive thought loops dissolve. Your subconscious stops generating panic, and your energy remains magnetic. Finally, focus on your life and purpose. Attraction amplifies when your attention is not consumed by texting patterns or imagined signals. When your energy is invested in your goals, passions, and social connections, women subconsciously perceive you as high value. This doesn't just reduce overthinking, it actively generates attraction. You no longer chase, desire begins to seek you. By integrating energy awareness, controlled engagement, perspective shifts, and life focus, you replace obsessive patterns with deliberate, magnetic behavior. Overthinking ceases because your mind and energy are anchored in what truly matters: your presence, autonomy, and emotional stability, creating effortless attraction from the very first interactions. Overthinking isn't just a mindset, it's a behavior pattern reinforced by habit. To stop it, you need real-time strategies to interrupt the loop before it controls your actions. The first technique is pause before reacting. When she sends a message, your instinct may be to respond immediately, interpret her tone, or overanalyze the content. Instead, pause. Take a breath. Remind yourself that her words are not a judgment on your value. This small delay resets your nervous system and communicates subtle confidence. Women notice calm energy far more than rushed reactions. Next is anchor in purpose. Before you respond, check in with your day, your goals, or your energy. Ask yourself, am I responding from curiosity, desire, or fear? Overthinking arises when you react from fear, when you treat her attention as scarce or conditional. By anchoring in your purpose, you shift the energy from anxiety to confidence. This energy shift alone makes you far more magnetic because women subconsciously respond to stability and self-assurance. Use curiosity over control. Men overthink because they try to control outcomes, decoding every word, timing, and emoji. Instead, adopt a mindset of curiosity. Seek to understand her energy and intentions, not manipulate or predict them. Ask questions lightly, observe patterns, and respond deliberately. When you lead with curiosity instead of fear, your responses feel natural and confident, and you stop creating tension that pushes her away. Another key technique is mental reframing. Every delayed reply, ambiguous text, or uncertain signal is neutral until your mind interprets it. Reframe uncertainty as opportunity rather than threat. A pause in communication isn't rejection, it's space for attraction to grow. Women subconsciously respond to men who tolerate uncertainty without panicking because it signals emotional resilience, stability, and self-worth. Finally, Physical grounding reinforces emotional control. When overthinking spikes, do something that anchors your body, deep breaths, walking, or focused activity. Physical presence and tension management directly influence your emotional state, helping you respond from calm energy instead of anxious patterns. By combining pauses, purpose anchoring, curiosity, reframing, and physical grounding, you gain control over the triggers of overthinking. Early dating becomes a landscape of opportunity rather than stress, and your presence, confidence, and energy naturally generate attraction without frantic analysis. By integrating energy awareness, controlled engagement, perspective shifts, and life focus, you replace obsessive patterns with deliberate, magnetic behavior. Overthinking ceases because your mind and energy are anchored in what truly matters: your presence, autonomy, and emotional stability, creating effortless attraction from the very first interactions. Stopping overthinking in the moment is essential, but the men who succeed consistently in dating understand that lasting mastery comes from long-term mindset and energy habits. The first principle is emotional autonomy. Your self-worth and confidence must remain independent of her reactions. If your mood, attention, or energy fluctuates with every text, delay, or subtle signal, overthinking will always return. When you internalize emotional autonomy, you create a foundation of stability that makes uncertainty irrelevant. Women notice this stability instinctively. It signals value, strength, and self-reliance, which naturally amplifies attraction. Next is purpose-driven focus. Your life, goals, and priorities must be compelling and separate from dating outcomes. Men who center their energy around external validation or imagined signals create the conditions for chronic overthinking. Conversely, when your energy is rooted in personal growth, achievement, and meaningful social connection, your mind stops obsessing over minor signals. Attraction becomes effortless because women sense a life fully lived, and that energy communicates higher value than any overanalyzed text ever could. Internalization of patterns is another critical shift. Overthinking arises when men respond reactively to ambiguity rather than proactively managing energy. By consistently practicing pause, grounding, curiosity, and reframing, you internalize a pattern of calm, deliberate response. This becomes automatic over time. Your nervous system no longer triggers fear or panic when uncertainty appears. You respond from mastery instead of reacting from insecurity. Another long-term tool is subtle energy calibration. Women respond to emotional rhythm, tone, and presence more than words. When you master the subtle flow of attention, intensity, and calm across interactions, you signal competence, stability, and attraction simultaneously. Overthinking ceases because your energy communicates confidence before your mind tries to interpret hers. Finally, adopt a growth-oriented mindset. View overthinking as feedback, not failure. Every moment of uncertainty is an opportunity to practice emotional control, presence, and grounded energy. Over time, these repeated micro-practices solidify your subconscious response patterns, making anxious analysis nearly impossible. Early dating transforms from a stress-inducing puzzle into a field where your confidence, purpose, and presence naturally generate attention, desire, and attraction. Here's the truth most men never fully grasp. Overthinking early dating signals isn't a flaw. It's a symptom of misaligned energy. Women respond first to presence, autonomy, emotional stability, and confidence, long before words or texts register. When you panic over a delayed reply, agonize over tone, or analyze every emoji, you're broadcasting insecurity and low value. The men women are drawn to are not obsessing. They are anchored, deliberate, and emotionally independent. The ultimate shift is energy mastery over analysis. Your focus must move from decoding her signals to controlling your own energy. Anchored presence, emotional regulation, purpose-driven focus, curiosity, and subtle rhythm in interaction are far more magnetic than logic or overthinking. Women detect this subconscious energy instantly. It triggers attention, attraction, and desire without a single effort to win or figure her out. Overthinking collapses because your nervous system and subconscious mind are aligned with calm confidence, not fear. Consistency is key. Early dating is not about a single moment. It's a pattern of presence, energy, and deliberate behavior. When you respond from mastery repeatedly, you stop reacting to uncertainty, and she begins to engage more deeply. Ambiguity no longer triggers panic. It becomes space for attraction to grow. Your life, purpose, and autonomy remain intact, which amplifies value subconsciously. Now, here's a personal reflection for you. If your mastery of emotional autonomy, presence, curiosity, rhythm, and purpose multiplied by your confidence equals your overthinking control score today, what number would you give yourself? Be honest and write it in the comments. This is not just theory. It's a mirror to see where you are and how much room you have to grow. If this video opened your eyes, like it, subscribe for more insights most men never hear, and share it with a friend who needs this reality check. Remember, overthinking is not a failure, it's an opportunity. Master your energy, respond from presence, and uncertainty becomes a tool, not a threat. Your energy is your power, and that power determines attraction, attention, and influence.